All right, good morning, and welcome to week coming up number 4. Hard to believe. We'll be starting week 4 next week. I want to let you know I'm going to talk a little bit faster and have to keep my comments a little bit shorter because my videos cannot exceed 10 minutes. Otherwise, we end up with the situation I had last week, and that was I couldn't post the video to my YouTube account, and I had to go and have the university assist me in that. So I'm going to try to keep it under 10 minutes, and then also send out a written kind of a written recap too for you. All right, so with that said, I just want to start off with some housekeeping things. The forums, the first week, 1 and 2 forums were fantastic. You'll see I'm viewing them and I'm just making comments acknowledging that I'm going through there and reading them. I try not to intervene too much because it's really an opportunity. The forums are built, and how I utilize the forums is for you, your cohort, your colleagues, to interact and learn from one another versus the interaction of the professor. So that's why you'll always see I just make comments to acknowledge you that I am reading them, going through and randomly select 2 to 3 a day that I'll post something to. But they've been excellent. They were absolutely excellent. The way you get full credit is to have 1 post of 250 words and 2 responses to other people's posts of whatever. It's always kind of hard because you keep saying the same thing over and over. So I'm very liberal, but that's what I'm looking for, and everyone did a very, very, very good job. Talking, I have I think 5 or 6 of the paper's already graded. It does take me a long time with 25 students, and I'm just wrapping up another MBA class that has 31 students. So it takes me a long time. I try to, when I'm just teaching one class, I try to get all the grading done within 48 hours. With the number of students I have currently, and to properly read them, provide critique and feedback, it's going to be taking me, 3 to 4 days. So I apologize for that, but they will all be done today from week 2's paper. So far pretty good, but I want to encourage everyone. I've already seen a few. APA is a must. If you don't have a really good baseline of APA, some review, or this is your first course, please contact me. I do have the cheat sheet. I sent that out. That's just kind of a good way to kind of keep it going. I am providing some feedback in the grades in the recap response area. But again, please, APA is a must at a graduate level and doing proper APA. That is just the base expectation. Going into week 4, and then I want to comment on Drew's post because there was a really good takeaway. Week 4, there will be another paper, but it's also in addition to your readings, and everyone's doing a nice job. I'm seeing a lot of citations or references to both the organizational and the decision-making book. But this week, in addition to those 2, remember the CREMS mentoring phases. That article is found in the resources. So click on the resource tab, and that's where it is found. In addition, just a good little input, if you will, is now that we'll be into week 4, the papers are starting to develop. I would be a great suggestion or best practice that I've seen from the past, and also what I do, is just kind of keep some of the really good takeaways that you've had from week 1, 2, and 3 and jot those down, or draft them on a document, Word doc somewhere, and save it. That way when you get to the final, which is really the recap, if the final write-in assignment, 2,500 words, but it is really an overall comprehensive review of the individual group. And so what a great way just to kind of hang on to some of the best things, that little tidbits that you've learned. Makes it so much easier when you're mind mapping and outlining your big final paper. Excuse me. All right, so I hope Drew doesn't mind, but Drew had a fantastic post. And he's talking about millennials, and he really starts to talk about the conflicts of the different age groups, and the older, the Gen X, and the older viewing millennials as lazy, kind of self-centered, and he's talking a little bit about his manager, thinking that he and others are just sitting back with their feet on their desk when in fact they're making lots and lots of calls, sales calls, etc. I thought that was fantastic because at our recent annual strategic planning session for my organization, we had a 2-hour conversation really working through this whole battle, including direct correlations to this battle and turnover. And it was a fantastic exercise, allowing each side, the older employees, share their views, and having the millennials that are in our group, which makes up over half of our organization, share what their insight is and why they do what they do and they think, and having this true, candid engagement of ideas, perceptions, and to work through that. It was just a fantastic exercise, and at the end of that 2 hours, having a true understanding, and that was one of the best exercises we've ever done during a planning session, was to allow each one of these groups, from the millennials, the Gen Xers, to the more mature employees, if you will, everybody have to state their perceptions. We wrote down their perceptions individually in groups and then brought it back and had equal engagement and dialogue of sharing our values, why we are who we are, and identifying these groups and how can we blend and better work together. It was a fantastic exercise. And then, of course, we recapped it and shared it with our entire organization and our board of directors. But what a powerful way. And when I read Drew's post when he was talking about that, I had to say that's exactly what our organization was struggling with the past 24 months until last September, when we sat down with 35 employees, each made up of each group, and worked through and allowed each one to share their perceptions, their biases, and to have a really true engagement of identifying who and what and why each group does what they do. And then to have a mutual consensus that we're all going to work together with an understanding and a true attitude of enhancing each one, recognizing each other's strengths. And it was really fantastic. And we're going to continue to do that at every planning session, to dedicate at least 2 hours to talk about the different generations in our workplace. So thank you, Drew. I encourage everyone to read Drew's post. It was fantastic. That is everything for now. I'm at the 8-minute mark, and I want to make sure I get this video. I'll be grading through the day. And then starting next week, the grading will be, I should have it back down to just 48 hours. So I apologize for this week's delay in seeing your graded papers. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. If you're in Sioux Falls, enjoy the snow. Get out and snowboard. Or stay inside, read a good book. Until next time, have a great day.